Yo, what is up? It's X here. And before this video gets started, I just want to say sorry that this part for What If Deku and Godspeed hasn't come out until now. But it's because I kind of had some writer's block. But with that out of the way, I'm back, and this is gonna be covering the Stain arc. So we last left off with Deku winning the sports festival, and of course Ida having the call and going all Avenger mode on us. But with that, they were all then told that they have to pick their names and stuff, and Deku ended up actually picking the name of. You guys can choose. I'm doing this just because I have a name in mind, but I want to let you guys choose to see if you guys can come up with something better. But if not, then I'll just tell you guys what the name is next on the next episode. And with that, yeah. So yeah, he picks the name that you guys will pick or me, and then they are told about the little internships. And due to Deku not actually having one for all, he doesn't go to Gran Torino. And he actually ends up going with Endeavor, since Endeavor will end up sending him a request because he saw that he was stronger than Shoto and he wants to, kind of use him to become better or whatever. Or just to use him to help Shoto become stronger. But the reason that I'm doing this is because, well, if he doesn't go to Hosu, then Ida's just going to die. And I was thinking of just kind of letting this man die, but then I was like, I don't know, man. Like, what about the fans? What about the fans? Nah, but for real. So, yeah. So, Deku basically goes to the agency, and this is when Todoroki and Deku arrive. So, during this entire time, Todoroki will actually have all the pampering and all the good stuff. Endeavor will mainly focus on him, and Deku will kind of just be like, damn, like, what the fuck did I come here for? Like, this man is not even, like, training me and shit. He's kind of just having me here. And yeah, that's kind of how everything goes. So Deku's just gonna do his own training, and he's just gonna watch whatever Todoroki's doing and try to like do everything that he's doing and try to work on his quirk a little more, as well as work on perfecting a certain move. He'll be doing a little bit of meditating and some more training. So the day of the actual Hosu incident comes around, and just like in the original canon, Deku and Todoroki and Endeavor will actually end up going to Hosu City. When this happens, Ida will actually just be getting manhandled by Stain and getting his ass whipped. And this is gonna be when Deku pops up out of nowhere, since he was running around the entire area just checking to see if any civilians needed help. And this is when he actually ran into the alleyway that Stain was in. After seeing this, Deku immediately speed blitzes inside, grabs Ida and Native, and he takes them to the top of a building to safety. He then rushes back in almost the blink of an eye, and Stain is just surprised. He's like, holy shit, And I'm not even going to try to like prolong this battle or try to make it any faster, because what is Stain going to do? Some human with a little weak ass blood quirk? I mean, that would work on somebody who's slow. Maybe like a close combat fighter, but it's just not. It's just not. Like, nothing's happening. So Deku comes in and straight knocks this man out. He just speed blitzes behind him and chops him in the neck, knocking him out. Okay, after this, some heroes arrive, like in canon, but not due to the Endeavor being told. It's just that a hero arrives, and that makes a couple other heroes come around, and this is when the ambulance is called. Right after that happens, the flying Nomo comes in and tries to grab Deku, but before it could even grab him, Deku jumps up in the air and activates the lightning cloak that I said I gave him earlier, and just stabs right into the Nomo's brain. I mean, he just kills it the second it comes around. And with that, the Stain arc is, what was I supposed to do? Make like a little fight, make it last longer? I mean, what is Stain gonna do? Come on. That's like fighting the Flash. Like, you don't win. You just don't. But, yeah. So, what was next after that? I believe it was the training. No, I believe it was dang it. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm glad I went to go check that, because if not, I was gonna completely forget about the heroes versus the teachers. So Like in the original canon, everything goes the same with Deku being told by the little dog police guy what he did wrong, and Deku doesn't really like lash out or really say anything. He's like, yeah, I get it. He kind of just ignores him until he gets to the part where he says that he's actually proud of him and thanks him for what he does. And this is when he tells him that Endeavor will get the credit, and Deku not being like popular thirsty, I guess you could say, doesn't really mind. And that just goes to canon. Afterwards, they go to class, and a couple of days later, they get told about the what is it called? The heroes versus teachers thing. And this is when Bakugo and Deku actually get put on the same team. And come on now, like Bakugo and Deku are friends. Like, what are they gonna do? What's All Might gonna do? I mean, All Might could just do the same thing to Bakugo, like in canon. Even though he is stronger, I mean, what's gonna change there? Okay, so the other fights goes to canon with everybody getting their butts kind of kicked, and then the All Might and Bakugo, I mean the Deku and Bakugo versus the All Might fight comes around. Deku tells Bakugo that if he wants, he could just speed blitz to the finish line, and they could both pass like that. And this one, Bakugo says, "You're kidding, right?" And Deku just starts laughing and says, "Of course I'm kidding. What do you think I would? You really think I would do that?" And Bakugo then sighs and goes, "No, but I mean, I just felt like you would." And yeah, they both basically create a plan where both of them will fight All Might, and Bakugo will actually go in first just to gauge how strong he's gotten, and then Deku will go in second. So that starts. All Might comes in with his usual punch to kind of what's the word? Intimidate them. And Deku just kind of smiles and thinks, I wouldn't expect any more. I mean, any less. And yeah, so then they're told about what is it called? What is it called? Also, before I keep going, there will be a little bit of background noise in a little bit. So yeah, just a heads up. If you hear anything, then just know, like it's unavoidable. So Bakugo comes in with his howitzer impact, and this is when All Might actually ends up getting hit by it. But he ends up grabbing Bakugo's head and slamming it into his knee. He then grabs his face and slams it into the concrete. And this is when Bakugo shoots an explosion, a huge one at that, right into All Might's face, forcing All Might to let him go. This is when Bakugo then shoots back and shoots a AP shot right at All Might's injury without knowing about it, but he just shot it like that. And this is when All Might will actually be caught off guard because it ends up hitting his spot. And right after that, Bakugo lets go of his gauntlets and shoots a full power explosion right at All Might. All Might then gets almost hit by that, but he flicks the explosion away and coughs out a little bit of blood. Deku then notices this, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Like All Might's injury. I'm not sure if I told him. No, I did say that. Deku was told about All Might. So Deku then says, "Oh shit!" Like, "Oh fuck!" Like, all for one. I mean, one for all. And like his injury, he's like, "Oh shit!" This is when Deku then speed blitzes in and says, "My turn, Bakugo," just to avoid having Bakugo injure All Might more than he needs to. Deku then comes in and starts fighting with All Might. They're going blow for blow, and Deku actually has his lightning cloak activated. He's not going full power, obviously, because if he did, he would defeat All Might. Like, I'm just gonna put it simply, he would basically murder All Might. So they come in and they're going blow for blow, actually doing great, and All Might is keeping up very well. So as this is happening, Deku then says, "Okay, this is it." He then looks at Bakugo and does like a head nod, and this is when Bakugo and Deku jump into the air, and Deku taps Bakugo's hand, giving him a lightning cloak. They both then bombard All Might and just BAM! Like, Bakugo comes in with a huge explosion, and Deku comes in with a huge, like, he creates like a sort of a hammer with his lightning, and just BAM! He hits All Might with that shit. After that happens, Deku and Bakugo are then told that they're the winners since they defeated him, and everything else goes to canon. The original students who had originally failed and the people who had passed will all go to canon, and they would all be told to get on the bus. This is when the training arc will come around. Yup, that's right. You guys get 3 pieces. So, trading card comes around. Y'all didn't hear nothing. That was yo. That was you. That was me. No, I'll just say. So they're told about that. They get on the bus, and as usual, everything goes the same up until the point where they all get put in. They all get off the bus. As that happens, Deku and Bakugo then look at each other and they're like, they kind of sigh, and all the other kids are knowing what's going on, but they don't want to accept it. They try to get back on the bus, and this is when the girl with the quirk shoots them off. And Deku and Bakugo are actually fine, considering that they're way more powerful, as well as Todoroki. He's also fine. So they all like get there, and when they land, Deku and Bakugo just look at each other, and Deku says, "I'll race you." Deku and Bakugo then they're like, all right, bet. And then Bakugo and Deku straight speed blitz straight towards the end of the all the way into the camp. And they get there with Deku winning, of course, and Bakugo getting there about a minute later. And oh my god, these dogs, bro, these dogs, bro, I'm about to go. Oh, but so you get told that, and what's it called? Okay, I don't want to make like the other kids have like a funny scene. So Deku then looks at Bakugo and says, "I'll be right back." He then basically teleports over to the other students and then runs around and taps on them all, giving them lightning cloaks. This is when they all end up going straight through the little forest of monsters, and they get there in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. They all arrive in about 10 minutes due to the lightning cloaks. And let's just like think about it. If you had a lightning cloak that increases all your stats by like 100, I'm playing. It's basically like the third rank Kage's and fourth rank Kage's little lightning cloak that they use. But yeah, they end up getting there, and Aizawa and the other teachers arrive, and this is when they all say, "How'd you guys get here so fast?" And Aizawa just kind of sighs, and he's like, "It's our best student, Deku." Bakugo hears this, and he's like, "Hey, what about me?" Aizawa just kind of sighs and says, "Come on now, Bakugo. We all know that Deku's the strongest." And yeah, they all basically just start laughing, and the cooking goes as to canon with Deku not actually going up to Koda and not getting hit in the balls this time, but definitely noticing that he looks a little angry and not all lively and happy how normal kids should. So the eating goes to canon, and everybody else's little exercises go to canon, except Deku will actually be helping all of them since he talked to Aizawa beforehand and said that he could do his own training, but it could be later and he could spend his time helping the other students since they're the ones who need to catch up the most. Aizawa will hear this and at first be like, I don't know about this. And then he'll kind of just look at Deku and be like, whatever. Like, it wouldn't even hurt you. You're probably stronger than All Might at this point. And Deku then just chuckles and he goes on to help the other students for the rest of the days. And yeah, that's when I'm just gonna skip this. Everybody basically gets stronger, and they do their trainings the same way as in canon, except Deku gives them boosts and tips and pointers. Kind of helping them progress a little more. Deku helps Bakugo the most though because their training consisted of sparring as well as the little boiling water training for Bakugo. Okay, later that day they eat and Deku is told about the Koda situation after saving him, like in canon, since everything else, it stays the same. Next day comes around, or is it that same day? I don't know. Let's just say it's the next day, right? So they all get ready, and this is the night when the forest starts burning, when they're playing the hide and seek, I think it was. I don't know, just you guys know what I'm talking about. The day that they're told, they all get put into the same groups as usual, and when the explosions go off, Deku notices that Koda isn't there. This is when Deku basically turns on his lightning cloak and goes full speed and starts blitzing around, running around. And this is when eventually he sees Koda, a huge man in a black cloak, just about to crush Koda. And this is when Deku basically speed blitzes everybody without a second chance, without Even before he gets there, right as Muscular was about to hit down and crush Koda. This is when Deku basically saves him and he takes him right back to camp and pops back up in less than a second. After this, after that, Deku would basically talk to Muscular, and they would have the scene where Muscular's like, "Oh, like, do you know where this kid is?" And Deku would basically realize it's Kachan. Like they're trying to take Kachan. He wouldn't freak out as much since he knows that Bakugo can handle himself, but he'd be a little worried. After this, Deku would then go on to fight with Muscular, and Deku wouldn't even give it a second thought. He would straight just murder Muscular. He would basically 100% smash this boy since he would send a powerful hit and send Muscular crashing into a mountain and being practically stuck in there in like a mold shape of him. Kind of like how it happens in a cartoon where they just crash straight into it and just stay on the wall. That's basically what he did to Muscular. Muscular's knocked out and taken out of the fight, and this is when Deku pops up to the area where the cat heroes were fighting with the guy with the big lips and the Stain impersonator. Deku then takes them both out, and yeah, I don't like those guys, so I'm just gonna get rid of them. He takes them out, and I'm gonna say that Dabi, the girl with the blood, Toga gets away, and yeah. This is when Deku then basically starts running around the forest and he sees Tokiyami with Dark Shadow taking over. He then basically knocks out Dark Shadow. He then basically knocks out Tokiyami and takes him back to camp, and knocking him out forced Dark Shadow to go back inside. I don't know if that's how it worked, but if it's not, then plot. So he then rushes, and this is when he runs into Bakugo and Todoroki. As soon as he sees them, Bakugo and Todoroki had already taken out the villain Moonfish, and this is when he informs Bakugo that they're after him, and he basically tells him that he's gonna stay with them just in case anything happens. They basically all start heading back to camp, and this is when out of nowhere, what's his name? The guy with the little balls who turned him into like the thing. He basically ends up taking Todoroki and Bakugo, with Deku not noticing since they were behind him. After this would happen, Deku would turn around and be like, "Bakugo!" Noticing that they're gone. He would then get angry and activate a sort of Godspeed mode. Like a super powerful God mode. He would then activate his dragon cloak that I had already talked about in the sports festival, and then fly through the skies and see the little guy with the magic tricks. He would see him and he would go to attack him, but as he did that, he would basically turn out to be fake. He would be a what's his name? Twice. He'd be a Twice clone. And the real one would be where he was at a cannon when Dabi and the rest of them got away. Deku will then use full speed, and before he could get Bakugo, he ended up only being able to save Todoroki. And they ended up taking Bakugo away, with Bakugo being like, "Deku, stay back." And that's where I'm gonna leave shit off. Hope you guys enjoy. The next part is gonna be the what's it called? All Might versus All for One fight. And I hope you guys are hyped for that. But with that out of the way, this is what did Deku had? Godspeed Part 5, I believe. But with that out of the way, guys, peace.